And now I think we have a special guest. He's not sure he's coming up now, but I'm staring at him. Mike Barr is going to tell us a story, and it was a very interesting story. I remember you told me about it.
All right.
Mike Barr.
Damn it, Charles. They have all these talented people here, and I just squeaked in. So Charles asked me to be short. I don't think I can be short. I can take off my shoes. There. So how'd that? He wants me to be shorter. There's a lot going on tonight, so when I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy. In the company of strangers in the quiet of a railway station, running scared. No, that's not, that's just a, sounds good. It's a song. That's not, those aren't my words. So here's the deal. This is for Sky. Sky, this story is for you. Sky's 18, and he's a friend of, the son of a friend of somebody in Colorado, and we brought him over here. He's helping us, and we're helping him, and he's here, and he's poor, and he's young.
And I'm homeless.
And I used to be poor, and I used to be young, and I used to be free. And now I'm not any of those things. And it's okay. It's cool. It's all right. Well, most of you who have seen me talk at the Flame have heard my stories of redemption and finding myself and traveling the world and all that, la-di-da-di-da. You know, going here and doing this and looking for that. And I was talking to Charles. The last Flame we were having some witty repartee and intelligent banter. It happens. He's good for that. And we were talking about being young, and we were talking about being free, and we were talking about, you know, those days, back in the days. And I remembered this thing that happened to me one time that I just wanted to tell you about. It's a very short little thing. So when I got here, like a lot of people getting here or getting somewhere, I had this, I was a turtle. I had a backpack of 20 kilos or so. And that was it. And that was it. I walked out of the Sanjo Starbucks. I mean, there was no Starbucks there. I walked out of the Sanjo station and looked. It was May 15th, 1997. And I looked across the river, and there's this green river with white birds living in it and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm home. I knew it. I just knew something that was so special when I got here. My friend Daiso met me, and he said, "Are you hungry?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm hungry." So we walked across the bridge, past where there wasn't a Starbucks, and turned left and went to this place that's still there called Hell Ramen, some people call it, Nagahama Ramen. A counter ramen place, fantastic. You can smell it from a block away. They have a vat with a pig just boiling down to nothing in it. Wonderful stuff, not for the vegetarians. And we ate ramen and da-di-da-di-da, and so one thing led to another. I'm being short. And my first month here, I just had no money. You know, I tried to get a job teaching, you know, eikaiwa, and luckily I had been a teacher back in my previous life in America, so I was a real teacher, and I could get work pretty quickly. But I had done this world trip that drained all of my bank accounts and ran up all the credit cards, and they canceled all the credit cards. And pulled up right at the last minute and got here, and I just had enough money. Literally, I was on 500 yen a day of ramen money. And at the time, let's see if I have a 500 yen visual aid. At the time I was, anybody have a 500 yen? See, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book. No, it's okay. So I was, when I was in, oh, he's got a 500 yen coin. Hey, all right.
From Scott.
Thanks, Guy. Now I'm taking this kid's 500 yen ramen money. All right. So at the time when I was in India, I was smoking these terrible Indian cigarettes, and I didn't want to smoke. I'm not a smoker. I was a non-smoker that happened to be smoking at that time, and it wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing, and I didn't want to spend my money on cigarettes. Back then they were cheap. They were like 200 yen or less a package. But nevertheless, I was walking down the street, keeping my hands busy by flipping my 500 yen coin, my ramen money. I was on Neomon walking back from the International Community House where I was probably trying to pick up a crappy refrigerator or a used sofa or something from the bulletin board, and flipping the 500 yen coin as I walked down the street, free, and young and poor, and it was just awesome. I was just like, birds are singing and the sun is shining, and my coin went in between a grate on Neomon Street. And there are taxis and cars and tourists and stuff walking by, and that's my dinner, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm really serious. That was it. And I got out in the street, and I got on my hands and knees, pulling on this thing to get my money so I could eat that day, and it was stuck. I gave it back, and it was stuck, and I didn't eat that night. I'm not joking. I was on my budget, tightly adhering to this budget, and I didn't eat, and I look back on it now and just think, young and free and poor. It was awesome. It was such a vivid and fantastic memory. I also only had one towel then. Literally, I had one towel. I have enough towels now. I've got 4 kids in the house. I have enough towels now. I could literally camouflage. I could cover the entire house in towels. I had one towel. When it got dirty, I washed it and then used it again for a few days and then washed it again. I had one key, and I didn't even use it. There wasn't anything in my apartment. I had no cell phone. I had no computer. I didn't lock the door to my little place because there was no reason to lock it. The only time I locked it was when I was inside because I didn't want anybody to walk in. And then so I had one towel, one key, 500 yen, young, poor, fantastic. And this goes with a hey, can I have my phone? This goes with a little song, and so I'm going to sing you a little song that connects to this. And if you know, if you were around in 1972, I think it was, and Ringo Starr narrated this movie called The Point. Has anybody seen or heard of The Point?
Yeah.
Fantastic flick. You should find it on YouTube. And so I'm going to sing you a little song. Man. Okay, I'm not as much of a singer as him or the guy that was on the wall, any of that. But this song is a really great. This song is a really great little song from a movie called The Point, and it's called "Think About Your Troubles." Okay, and it's kind of about. Try not to tear up while I sing. Sit beside your breakfast table and think about your troubles. Pour yourself a cup of tea and think about the bubbles. You can take your teardrops, drop them in a teacup, take them down to the riverside and pour them over the sides to be swept up in a current and taken to the ocean to be eaten by some fishes who are eaten by some fishes and swallowed by a whale who grew so old he decomposed. Do-do-do, boom-boom, do-do-do, boom-boom, do-do-do. He died and left his body to the bottom of the ocean. And everybody knows that when a body decomposes, the basic elements are given back to the ocean. And then the sea does what it oughta, and soon there's salty water. And it's not too good for drinking, 'cause it tastes just like a teardrop. And we run it through a filter, and it comes out of a faucet. And we put it in a teapot, and it's just about to bubble, yeah! Now, think about your troubles. Ooh.
mentioned Nagahama ramen, and I have one little thing about that. Two teachers that taught at the international school about vegetarians. Can you say devout? Strict, devout, orthodox vegetarians. And you know her, yes. She was your teacher. Yeah, she was the one that said, if you don't do your homework, you're going to, and all the kids said, you don't have to do homework, there's an option. You know, she was teaching at a really tough school in Brooklyn or something, so she was ready to get it. But anyway, she and her husband, really serious vegetarians, said, I found some great vegetarian ramen. I said, where? She said, Nagahama ramen. If you ever ate it, he mentioned the big pig boiling in the pot, but they didn't speak any Japanese, so they would say, ramen, no meat. And the guy would go, hey, ramen, that's no meat. And then, I told her about it. I said, are you kidding me? You know, and they both, her and her husband were both so, they were so sad. Thank you. But they liked it. Yeah, that's the funny thing about vegetarian. Sometimes, not all. Let's not go there. Phil Norton, who also knew Josh from the old days, and I think you probably performed on some of the same evenings, is next up, and he's going to finish this set.